Hey, my name is Roy. I recently did my road test here at Northtown Registry, and I wasn't allowed to record my road test, so I'll just be going off of memory with a similar route to the one I took. So, at the start of your road test, the first thing you'll need to prepare is your insurance and registration if you bring your own motorcycle. And then they'll check that your signal, horn, lights, and brakes are working before starting. And then also really important is that you have a pair of earbuds or earphones so that the evaluator can contact you while you're riding. You'll be muted, and then he'll give you directions over the phone as you're riding. So yeah, here we go. Started the engine, and then we'll get a move on to the practice road test. So remember to always do your blind spot checks. So just leaving the parking lot, I usually don't go past 15 kilometers an hour. And then reminder to always blind spot check. So in front of us, we're coming to our first stop sign leaving the parking lot. So if there's no clear line that marks where the stop sign begins, I usually just stop before the sidewalk, and that works out. And remember to do your blind spot checks to enter the road and also switch lanes. I also do another blind spot check right there, just to switch into the dominant riding position. One of the important things to remember is that your evaluator will likely be following you in a car, and your motorcycle can accelerate a lot faster than the car, so you need to limit your acceleration so that your evaluator can keep up at lights. Similarly, if the light begins to turn yellow, personally I'd bomb it, but for your road test, don't do that. You need to make sure that your evaluator can follow you. There's always a chance that your evaluator may get separated from you, in which case your evaluator will tell you to pull over or find a place to park. So in areas like these, where there are cars parked on the side, these areas can be treated as two-lane roadways. So it's important to speak with your evaluator before and ask what they want to see. Because some evaluators, they want to see you signal out of the right side of this lane to enter. Others don't want you to signal because there's no line in between. So just make sure you know what your instructor wants or evaluator wants. So as you can see on the right, there's a sign for a school zone. Usually they want to bring you through one or two of these. The speed limit here is 30, and they will not like it if you go over 30 at all. That's probably one of the easiest ways to fail the test if you start speeding in a zone like this. Full stop at the stop sign. I was a little close to the line there. Usually you want to stop a little bit further from the line because the evaluator behind you in the car may be unable to see that you're fully stopped behind the line, which could be a fail point. And at the end of all these school zones, there's going to be a bright yellow sign that lets you know that you can go back up to 40. I'm going a little bit fast, that's on me. Usually I like to stay within plus or minus 5 of the speed limit. Although on my actual road test I was definitely going a little slower than faster. I'll usually do a blind spot check to switch lanes, and I'll do another blind spot check to move to the other side of the lane. It might not be required, but personally I like to err on the side of caution. You might get dinged for excessive blind spot checking though, so you might want to ask your evaluator on what they prefer to see. There's nothing wrong with it, it just makes you look a little less confident. You might be wondering why I'm not driving at this red light, because you are allowed to make a right turn at a red light. However, at this point, I can't confirm whether or not my evaluator would be able to follow me through, so I decide not to go on the side of caution. Over here you can see I stopped very far behind this car. Usually you only want a car space between you and the car in front of you, but this extra space will help your evaluator see the space between you and the car. It's just a thing to keep in mind. Yeah, I like waving to other riders, but I don't think you should do that during your test. Just remember that when you come to a stop, you should always glance left and right to allow your evaluator to see that you are able to stay aware of what's happening on the road. One of the things I learned coming from Ontario is that there's only one road test in Alberta for motorcycles. So now we're about to enter the highway rather than having two separate tests for city and highway driving. One of the things to keep in mind is to use the lane to accelerate and then switch, rather than just blasting it straight to 100 and cutting it across the line early. Yeah, my road test highway portion was just 1.5 kilometers on the highway and a quick lane change as well. It really isn't too complicated. You'll see that I'm moving around a bit to avoid the lines and cracks on the road. So before my test, I asked my evaluator if I was allowed to swerve a bit to avoid things like potholes, cracks on the road, and he was completely fine with it. So just make sure that you clear that up with your evaluator so that your evaluator doesn't think that you're just swerving uncontrollably and fail you for that. To my right, there's a car that's towing the line, and usually from that, I can infer that the driver is going to immediately gas it the second the light turns green. So because I need to make sure that my evaluator can follow, I'm willing to yield and let him cross in front of me, because it's my road test, not his. And as you can see, he does end up stepping on the gas. I'm perfectly fine with letting him pass. It is my road test. So over here the light is flashing, meaning that the speed zone here is actually 30, so I'm definitely speeding. However, I did see the person already finish his crossing, so I'm not really going at 30. Just remember that during your road test, however, the light means that the zone is 30 and you will get failed if you're going over that speed. Once again, I love waving, but don't do that on your test. Oh yeah, one of the super nice things is that your evaluator, when you're doing a lane change, they'll do the lane change before you and they'll hold the lane for you so that you don't need to worry about actually making your lane change. It's super easy and it's super nice. So just keep that in mind. You don't need to stress too much when they tell you to make a lane change. Your evaluators aren't there to just get you. They want to give you the license. You just need to not give them a reason to keep it from you. Man, I really can't resist waving, but once again, don't do that on your road test. You'll notice that throughout this video, many cars end up passing me, and that's because people like to go over the speed limit. But during your road test, even though you're supposed to go with the flow of traffic, you're not expected to go over the speed limit, and you really shouldn't. Although if the traffic causes the speed to be slower than the speed limit, there's nothing that you can do, so the evaluator can see that and they'll be fine with you going a little slower. During the road test, you'll likely have to make a stop with an uphill parking. My evaluator didn't end up doing that and just made me pull over on the side of the road and do an emergency stop. He said before the test that because I brought my own bike and there was gravel out, he didn't want me to slip and damage my bike during an uphill parking, which was super nice. But if you do end up having to do an uphill parking, remember to signal while you do so. In case your road test is in a flat area, your evaluator may tell you to put the bike in neutral, hold the brake with your right foot, then lift your hands to replicate an uphill start. Remember to check your blind spot before leaving, and signal your way out. Yeah, and just like that, my road test is effectively over, and we're just driving back over to the registry to finish up. My final advice really is just try to stay calm during the road test. Like, it is a test and it might cause you to get nervous, but it's really not that bad. Like, once again, your evaluator isn't there to get you, they want to give you the license. You just gotta make sure that you don't give them a reason to keep it from you. And that just about concludes my replicated road test. Mine ran for about 30 minutes as well. Yours may be shorter or longer. Your evaluator will tell you to find a spot to park and then debrief you on how it went. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.